Hey guys, if you don't know, I love Your Lie in April. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the best pieces of literature I've ever read. I know it's one of the best pieces of literature I've ever read. It made me cry almost in every single volume, separately in every single volume. And overall, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful story that I will never, ever stop loving. Now, before I explain why, I should say this. So I think most of you know by now, and if you don't know, I'm going to tell you right now, Haikyuu is my favorite series overall. Down pat. It's my first favorite series ever, and it will never change that way. Same thing with One Piece. One Piece is my second favorite series. Chopper's backstory hurt me like a truck, and that will never change as a second. Same thing with Your Lie in April. This is my third favorite series. It comes in third place. And that will never ever change. No matter what other series comes by, that will never ever change. Because this holds a special place in my heart. And that will never change, ever. I'm telling you that now. So, actually, before this, let me give you a little retrospective. But, let me give you a little thing. Before I started filming this video, I read the final volume of Your Lie in April again. And I cried. Harder than last time too, which is actually pretty funny. Because usually I kind of expect, but oh my god, it hit me like a truck this time for some reason, and Your Lie in April is so good. It is so good. Oh my god, bro, it is so good. Okay, let me explain why though. First off, let me get the number one reason out of the way. The characters. The characters are perfect. Every single character is amazing. There's no wasted character in here. There's no character put in here for comic relief. Obviously, there's some like comic relief and stuff. But even Tsubasa or Tsubaka, I don't know how you pronounce her name. Even she, like I even remember the names too, and that's very rare for me. Even she is like used in this story too. It's like a love interest with Kosei, and Kosei is like, love interest with this girl. I forgot her name. That's so sad. She's literally the let me see. Kaori Miyazono. Yes. So Kaori, when he meets him, and they have like this great like love square where it's Kaori and Watari. I think that's his name. I believe Watari. And they have Kosei and Tsubasa. And all four of them are kind of like in love with each other, and they have different friendships and stuff. And it's actually like a love triangle, love like shape that actually kind of works. Usually when I watch or read something with a love anything, it doesn't work for me. It's really shitty. But for this, it does, which is pretty surprising. And especially the two other pianists, they serve such an important role to just show how much Amira Kosei has like grown and developed, and how they bounce off of each other is absolutely perfect. And let me talk about this too. The writing is amazing. The writing in the story is absolutely beautiful, especially to the way they bounce off of each other in different panels. There's one part in the final volume, I'm not going to spoil it by the way, but there's one part in the final volume where these two characters are kind of talking to each other, and it bounces off in such an amazing way. I can actually hear the conversation in my head, and it feels like I'm like actually like watching something instead of just reading it on paper. It actually feels like I'm in there in the moment. Especially the paneling too is absolutely gorgeous. Especially the way the mangaka panels all the characters and stuff, and the way he like gets like camera angles them, but it's not actually cameras, he's drawing them obviously. But that different way is so cool. I absolutely love that. Let me say this too, the art is amazing. I don't really like the art, I don't really like the character art. I don't really like how they look. That's just my personal opinion. I don't really like the art style. But when they do music scenes and Kaori is playing the violin, or or Amira is playing the piano, or any character, or Aizawa is playing the piano, or the other girl's playing the piano. I forgot her name. The one girl who like cried. Well, that's a lot of girls actually in the story. When they were playing the piano too, and Aizawa's little sister, when she's playing the piano, it's so tense and you can feel it like through the page, and it's so amazing. I don't know how he does it. I'm not a writer. I'm not an artist. Okay, I've dabbled in both. I actually am planning to write a book. I'm just saying, but and I had dabbled, and I did do a lot of art in the past, but both of them are just absolutely beautiful. The tense scenes are so tense you can cut it with a knife, and the way you read it, it's like you don't even want it to stop, because it's there's this one moment in a volume where it's tense after tense after tense after tense, and then he looks up and he sees the lights, right, and it flashes back to a memory, and all of a sudden in your mind at least it goes quiet. There's no music anymore. It's just one flashback scene, and it makes you cry, because it's such a dramatic emotional shift that it's like a dramatic emotional shift in your mind as well, and it actually made me cry. For some reason, it wasn't even like an emotional moment. It was just the way it was like choreographed, and the way it was written, and the way it was drawn, and the lighting effects. Even though it's paper, the lighting is beautiful. And you know, and that's Your Lie in April, just like basic manga standards at least. But let me just say this: the story is great. Every single the story is so beautiful, because it tells this one guy who fell out of love with piano, and this girl named Kaori wants him to reattach his love back to himself, and she wants him to get back into piano and to love it again, and he finds love, but he can't do it without her, and then a bunch of other things ensue, and the ending is just so beautiful for the way it portrays it, especially because you realize that he doesn't hate piano at the beginning. He doesn't hate it. He's just scared of it. He's intimidated by it. He doesn't know how to stop, and it's such a relatable series, especially to me, who's gone through stuff like this as well. That it's like, I don't know how to tell you the spoilers for Your Lie in April, and I just gotta say too, this doesn't ruin the story, but please, if you haven't read Your Lie in April, please skip this part, or just exit out of the video and go read it, because like this is the one time I'm actually gonna tell you to actually go and read this story, because it is so good, and if you get spoiled on it, you might not have the best experience that you can. And I'm gonna say me, I actually did get spoiled on it. I actually got spoiled on it, like halfway through the series I got spoiled on it. And I don't know if it would have changed or something, but I still, felt emotional attachment to these characters, even though I knew where they were gonna lead. And I was still invested in their stories. So I'm gonna leave a spoiler warning right here. If you don't wanna, just exit out the video or skip like 10 minutes into it. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but skip somewhat through it so you don't get spoiled. So, when Kaori dies, right? Obviously it's sad. And then the note at the end is incredibly sad. Obviously. That's really all I gotta say. It's, especially the way they express it. I just want to say this too. The way they express the piano to different people as well. Every time Kira, his name's not even Kira, his name is Kosei. Every time Kosei plays the piano, he's playing it for someone. One time he's playing it for his mom, and one time he's playing it for Kaori, and one time he's playing it for Tsubasa. One time he's playing it for Aizawa's little sister. And he plays the piano for so many different people. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think the author, I just want to talk about this too. The character of Kosei's mom is such a great character, because at the beginning you hate her, right? She's a strict teacher who's forcing him to play with no soul, right? And obviously you're not gonna like her. She's not very likable. But then you learn more about her, and the teacher, I forgot her name, but the teacher as well. You learn more about her as well, and you kind of have mixed emotions about her now, because you know she did shitty things to her son in the past, but she never wanted it to happen. She didn't have bad intentions with it. She just wanted to love her son, and like when the other character, the teacher, she got the son into piano, then she started getting into a dark path, and it's a really great story about corruption, and like this tiny little part of the story, it is so beautiful and amazing and perfect. But it's just one plot point of the story, and it's only dedicated to one art piece. And I also would like to say that some of the best moments in this don't actually come from this. And you can see that's a pro or a con, I don't know. Like, obviously, you can't hear the music in the volume. That's obvious. No matter how hard you try, you're never going to hear the actual music trying to be played. I can hear there's actually music in here, but if we both read the same volume, if we both read the series, I would hear different music than you, and you would hear different music than me. So what I would do is I would read the volume, and then at the end of the chapter, or at the end, I read a chapter, and then at the end of it, they would play, or they would, tell you the title of what he played, like the Sixth Sonata of Chopin or whatever. It doesn't matter. And I would go, my Alexa, and be like, hey Alexa, play the Sixth Sonata, whatever, of Chopin, and then it would play it. And then I would finally understand what the author meant by the character and what he was feeling at the time while playing it. And I can hear it through the music too. These song choices aren't being picked because they're good song choices or they're popular or whatever. These song choices are being picked because they are appropriate for the scene. And I think that is amazing. The mangaka knows how to do that perfectly. And oh my god. I think I've already talked about this, but the characters are beautiful, especially with Kaori and her ambition to get, Amira Kosei into music again, and the origin on why she wants to do that, I think is absolutely outstanding. Now, I do have a bit of a problem with it as well. I don't really like the trope of I would have wished that she was just some random girl just trying to get him into music, I kind of wish that was actually the case, because that would have made it felt so much more coincidental and also a lot more real. Because these things happen in real life. But I could have never have thought that, she would have, she followed him all through his childhood and stuff. And all that's great, beautiful, and incredibly sad, but the way she did it, I thought was, a bit weird. And I didn't really like it very much, but one problem is not going to turn the story into dog shit. It will not. Oh my god. Sorry, I'll probably make a part 2 to this as well, because Your Lie in April is just so good. And obviously I'm doing this for One Piece. I already did this for Haikyuu. Haikyuu is definitely a different story than Your Lie in April. Haikyuu is more uplifting, more inspiring. It gets you hyped, makes you scream at the top of your lungs and go crazy. And the art is beautiful in Haikyuu and all this other shit, right? And it's so inspiring and so amazing. It doesn't make you cry essentially, but this just makes you depressed. This is my Goodnight Poon Poon. I haven't actually finished Goodnight Poon Poon. I read the first volume. I loved it, but I haven't finished it. At least Goodnight Poon Poon. But Your Lie in April. Let me also say this: when Kaori died, I felt like I lost a family member. I remember when she died, I was crying, whatever. The next night, I literally was thinking, damn, she's dead. I'll never see her again. I'll never read another chapter of her. I'll never, And obviously that's dumb, because she's a fictional character on a piece of paper. But she felt like such a real person to me that I actually went through grief when she died. That was great. For a week, I was just thinking damn, she's actually gone. I'll never see her again. It's so sad. Obviously, if the series ended and she was still alive, like, I still would never see her again. But this series, this series just felt so real and like realistic and so and like I keep using these words over and over again, but I can't describe it. And especially, like, I should just say this: the juxtaposition with the, like, oh my god, the piano with Kosei and the violin with Kaori, like, they literally screaming into your face because they're two different people coming together to play music. That is all they are. They're two different people with two different instruments just coming together to play music. One has a very down to earth, very by the books, like, style of playing, and the other one has a very off the walls, very bombastic, very chaotic style of playing. And they both share each other's styles. Like, and I love about how this series could have easily went, oh, playing this way is good, playing this way is bad. But it doesn't do that. It says playing this way can teach you different things, but also playing this way could also teach you different things. And I like how the series didn't just say, oh, this is good, this is bad. It said, no, look at the pros and cons and figure it out for yourself. And I love that about Your Lie in April. It never gives you one solid answer. It gives you multiple possibilities, multiple answers. Especially with the stuff about the lie. He said, I told one lie. That could be interpreted into so many different things. I mean, not really, but it can. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I have a lot more things to say, but I don't really need to say them. So, yeah, Your Lie in April is a masterpiece. You can't change my mind. I heard March Like a Lion, or March of a Lion, whatever it's called, is coming out this year. That in 2023, it's coming out. And that is just as good, not even if better, than Your Lie in April. So, we'll see what happens there. But I promise you, Your Lie in April would not get out of the top 3. It might, like, what if One Piece is just ass? Like, I just read the next couple volumes and I think it's ass. I'm putting that shit in number 3rd spot and this going number 2. I'm sorry, I just gotta put it there. But yeah, Your Lie in April is amazing. Perfect in every single way, shape, or form. That's all I gotta say. Thank you, and goodbye.